you're going to have to start focusing on higher ticket items so that you can focus on that top line and eventually the bottom line.
It's time for bookkeeping, beer, and BS. Going from 200 to 400,000 is a lot different than going from 800 to a million. And so I think that capacity and demand relationship, like you said, Rob, is tougher early on because of that just relationship percentage wise. When we add a truck or when a truck goes down and your capacity goes down, it's equally as painful. James.
All right. I got to dip out, guys.
Okay. See you, Rob.
Dip out in a bit.
All right. Thanks for jumping on. Right, James, you had the nod going on. Now, how many trucks do you guys have at Elkhorn? You got to have a pretty sizable fleet roll.
Well, appreciate being on. Sorry I'm a little late, but I got to tell you a fun story about that after this question. So I think now we're like 21 or so, but it's always the capacity is always there, but it goes back to like the root. Like, are your prices too low that you're getting so much backlog and so much business, or do you just not have trained people in place to help manage that stuff off the get-go? Because we're in the same boat. I mean, we don't have snow like you guys just got yesterday, but
it melted by now because now it's just raining all day today. So we washed out that snow, no problem.
Yeah, that's good. But it's still like if you flip a switch and then it's like dormant time to boots on the ground running.
Yep.
So for us, it's always been too, like, how can we either incentivize people to do some of that work in the off-season months, or is there something else we can do with those team members to keep them busy and do something for the customer? Or we just let them know, like, hey, if you're going to prepay in November, December, you're going to get a selected slot as soon as the spring starts. But then people call in, a week, a month ago, they're already booked out till June.
Well, I dig
July.
Dig the prepay. Is it like if they prepay, they're getting? Sorry, I got like a sneeze rolling. So if I make any funny faces, it's because I'm trying to hold back a sneeze. That's what I got. That's what I have in my life right now. So if they prepay, they're also paying at last year's price, I'd assume, before you increase prices. So it's a little incentive, like just get on the calendar. They're still paying full price. It's not like a deal. It seems like.
Correct.
You get to pick when you're going to go now instead of being at the mercy of the schedule and at the mercy of whatever the hell the price is by the time next spring rolls around.
Yeah. And it's looking at all the data to see like what the time frame or what the cycle of your business is. Like, just an example for irrigation, like we get a lot of new people signing up for new sprinkler systems, but we're not going to schedule them during sprinkler turn on when we're doing hundreds or thousands of other people. You know what I mean? Like, why would we pull all of our techs together to do this when we could just keep knocking out? Because there's a short window of turning them on, as you probably know too. As soon as it gets dry and hot, people freak out. So it's like, we got to get everything on, but it's over communicating with people like, hey, as soon as we get everybody taken care of, then we'll get to the installation. So we kind of just move people where that void could be. And then we start filling that up. But it's always pivoting. I mean, it's figure out what the stressful part is, or where the opportunity to add, move, bring in people, subcontract, offer a service that could take care of both of those things, or whatever it may be.
Yep.
It's always changing.
Yep. Michael, do you, where's your mind at on that as far as like trying to manage where the demand lands? And do you have to do the same at Click Call Sell, like demand lands in your business?
Well, we have more of like a value ladder approach, which is very similar to like a lot of landscaping. Like just the mowing and hedging is more of like a loss leader, because I'm trying to sell the irrigation, the aeration, the hardscapes and stuff like that. So, but I mean, James is perfectly correct. When you have a capacity issue and there's way more demand than you can supply, you raise your prices or sell higher ticket items to increase profitability. So if you're into like mid-May and you haven't got your production capacity up, your operational capacity up, you're going to have to start focusing on higher ticket items so that you can focus on that top line and eventually the bottom line. But build up your infrastructure before it happens. That way you're ready for it when it does happen.
And as somebody that is intertwined in a recruiting company, I'd say make sure you always be recruiting, because half the time when we get behind on our capacity or don't have the capacity to handle the demand, it's because we waited until we were in a tough spot to start recruiting. And none of our equipment does a damn thing if there's not a dude running it.
Yep.
Right now. But, at some point that'll change. There'll be robots running around.